really with Trubisky, it's just about consistency. If he can, when he's on, they're very good. When he's not, and he was not quite a bit this year, but many are sort of thinking that might be due to injury. The Bears were bad.
I don't blame that on injury. I blame that on the head coach and the GM, because the first thing they did in the offseason was trade away Jordan Howard to Philadelphia. Thank you very much for giving us a running back. Appreciate you. The second thing they did was they drafted David Montgomery in the draft, and they kept Tariq Cohen to, I guess, have a 1-2 punch in the running game, because that's how they won last season when they won a division. And somehow this season, Nagy proved himself to be a true Andy Reid disciple and failed to run the football.
True. But you could sum it up quite simply. Just imagine how many wins they would have if Mike Tomlin was the head coach. 10, 12, James?
The other underreported story about Chicago was, despite all that talent they have on defense, the defense underperformed.
Yeah. We always expect defensive regression when they perform that well.
Yeah.
There's always a drop off.
Whenever you see a team getting loads and loads and loads and loads of turnovers, then that's always going to balance itself out over the next year or two.
The last pick here that we'll discuss, the 20th pick in the draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got that pick from the LA Rams. Apparently, knowing Sean McVay is not everything it takes to be a winner, because Sean McVay obviously knows Sean McVay, and here he is out of the playoffs.
Yeah, and they're a team who have. I mean, when do they next have a first round draft choice? 2023 or something?
You know.
So, they've got.
Neil, here's another team without an offensive identity.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah, you're quite right, James. That's right.
Because we're still mixed reaction on whether Goff is the quarterback to lead this team, and the health of Gurley tends to dictate how well this team performs.
Yeah.
And defensively, I don't know what to make of them, because this is the most wildly inconsistent unit I've seen in some time.
For the talent they have there, yeah. I worry about their offensive line and how they're going to replace guys on that offensive line when you have no draft capital.
Right.
Do you guys think they'll regress next year then? Even further?
Will the Rams regress further?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think this is their floor.
Yeah, they're pretty much second or third best in their own division. It's just a matter of when they'll be able to leap back in front of Frisco or Seattle to be second. But one of those two teams will pretty much win a division consistently, and the other will be second or third in a battle with the Rams and fight for that playoff spot, for a wild card spot.
So right now, as of today, would you put the Cardinals above the Rams next year or below them?
Tempted, but no.
I wouldn't put them below the Cardinals, but we mentioned that the NFC West was a difficult one. They are playing the AFC. Well, let's see. The AFC West opponents are the AFC East and the NFC South. And of course, you then play in the other division. Your other opponents are determined by where they finished in their particular division. So the fact that the Rams finished third actually should help them, because they're going to be playing teams that are way worse than what they are in the third place spot.
The Giants.
Let's see. Their home record, their home opponents will be the Cardinals, 49ers, Seahawks, Bears, Cowboys, Patriots, Giants, Jets. Their away opponents are the Cardinals, 49ers, Seahawks, Bills, Dolphins, Eagles, Bucks, and Redskins. I mean, to me, the Rams on that record should be back in contention for the division.
Tough division.
It is. And, of course, the Seahawks and the 49ers will have many of those same opponents. But I do think the Rams have an advantage playing a third-place record versus the 49ers, whom everyone except for me seems to think are a year too early early and perhaps will regress because they're playing a first place record.
Yeah. A lot of changes to happen before.
Oh, the Niners will definitely regress.
Yeah. So
it depends. One of the best ways to look at how teams will do the next year, and it's not that stupid strength of schedule stuff. It's point differential and how much you won games by, because the league's so close. You know, teams who win games by 3 or 4 points, up to 7 points, that can easily swing in the drop of a hat. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I used that for my power rankings quite often this year, Neil. So I'm glad you brought up point differential.
Yeah, I think it's one of the it's one of the safer ways of over the course of the season to look at a team, for sure.
Well, you know who had the best point differential
for 3 straight years.
When you say best, do you mean like best minus points differential? Because that must be Washington, surely.
No, that was Miami at 188. The Redskins were at 169. Actually, the Patriots at one point were on track for like a record-breaking point differential. They actually finished second at 195. The Ravens had the best point differential at 249.
Of course they did. But yeah, I mean, it was easy for the Patriots to jump out to that record-setting pace because, again, their first 8 opponents combined for 5 wins.
But again, remember, the 49ers were playing a third-place schedule. Their point differential is 169. They were the third best point differential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So who was the best? Sorry, I missed that because my supper just arrived on the table.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yes. So teams that had
listen, we started this podcast at breakfast, and now my dinner's arrived.
Yeah, I know. The team, the best record with the closest point differentials would be the Seahawks, 11-5, had a +7.
Oof.
And the Texans, who finished 10-6, had a -7.
See, what we could do is take that and look at each of the 4 games this week. Not right now, but listener, you can do this at home. Look at the 4 games this week and see if the teams with the best point differential win the 4 games.
That will be interesting. That would mean the Patriots will beat everyone but the Ravens. I like that theory, Neil. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, gosh.
Neil,
why?
I'm sorry, James. It's New Year. I'm just I'm sobered up.
Fall into my traps every single time.
But it could it'd be interesting to see if that point differential theory plays itself out in these playoffs, just across both divisions, both conferences. Sorry.
Many have asked why I don't split these types of shows up into 2. Well, we've tried that before, and it didn't really work out for us. We got the most compliments on our Week 17 preview show. That was also just as long as this particular podcast.
And I can add to that, Jay, by reading out a text I just received from Sean, my friend over here in Scotland, who's an Atlanta Falcons fan. He said, "Just listen to last Thursday's Week 17 preview pod. Hilarious. You 5 should do every pod together and have Monty and Rob drinking."
I agree. You know who was missing in that particular roundtable was Nick. We need to add Nick in there, make for an extra long podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Just as an FYI, there will be changes coming to this particular podcast for 2020. And I believe a lot of them will be centered around that Week 17 preview podcast. So stay tuned. I believe we've reached the end here. I don't believe we have anything more to say about any of these NFL teams. I think we've said enough. Teams that we didn't talk about have first week buys. So congratulations, Packer, Chiefs, 49er, and Ravens fans. We did not talk about your teams. Just so you know, we are most off on the Niners and the Ravens. Niners were ranked 25th in our power rankings week 1, even though I had them I had them at number 14 in my power rankings. They finished at 4th. The Ravens were 16th in our power rankings in week 1. They finished at 1. So there you go.
Not many people saw that coming, did they? Really?
No.
I think we all certainly expected Jackson to have a better season, but the team itself, maybe we didn't see the defense playing as well as it has played.
It was
especially since
Big improvement.
Yeah, especially with what they lost last year. No,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
defense playing this well.
Yeah. Right.
So, hey, if you've reached the end of this particular podcast, you can send us another email, nextfanup@gmail.com. You can tweet us at NFU Podcast, Facebook.com/NFU Podcast. Be sure to join our playoff pick'em group on CBSSports.com. The link is in the show notes. It's been on social media. So you shouldn't have any problems joining that. With these longer podcasts, we do have chapter titles when we share from our Spreaker account, so you can jump to particular points in the podcast if that's what you prefer. Or perhaps you've listened to the playoff portion, you've put it aside for a little while, and then you've come back to listen to the non-playoff portion of the podcast. Congratulations. Thanks for making it to the end of this particular show. Neil is going to go eat some dinner. I'm going to continue to starve myself. On a personal note, people who have followed my weight loss or my weight battles through the years, I am back to losing weight again because I've gained all of the weight that I previously lost 7 years ago.
Good for you, Jay. Good
horrible.
for you.
But I'm starving myself once again to get back to my.
I shall sit here and
Atkins, Jay. Atkins.
I shall sit here and eat my duck roulade stuffed with plum and pork stuffing.
That sounds like it's loaded in calories. What are you talking about?
I hope so.
Sounds delicious too. Quite honestly,
it smells great. It smells better than you two, I'll tell you.
And I think with that, we'll leave you with Andy Dalton. There you have it.
I never even heard his interview, so I don't know the context in which it was said. I don't know what he said before. I don't know what he said after. So I still haven't seen it. I'm not going to watch it. I don't care, But I've got no ill will towards Jay. There's no feud between me and Jay. I think we lost the game. He said what he said, and we're moving on. That's in the past now.